Hello and welcome everyone, I'm C.S.Gilmore, and this is Playne. Now, this isn't really a game, but it's something I wanted to share with you guys. It's more of a meditation help guide type of thing. I don't know. It'd be easier to show you than to explain right at the moment. So you got Story, Sandbox, and Evolve. So we'll just continue with the story. You can set it to give you daily reminders. I think there's an app or something that can go with this. I don't bother. Now, I have this on, right now I have a streak of 1. I've had, like, a streak of, 60 or so before, but you miss one day and the streak's gone, and then the fire either goes down to nothing, or, it goes down to embers if you want to do a streak-related fire, which can go up to 100%, or you can do a save my fire, which goes up to 80%, which is why I have it on right now, not bothered. Now, as you can see, I've got a bunch of dots at the top here, and that's because the number of times you have to do a meditation in order to, or the number of days you have to meditate in order to get the next unlock in the story. And we're on the last day for the last level, which will unlock Evolve Mode and Plant the Natural Tree. They do a whole, Plant Tree California type thing. Apparently. Yeah, it'll unlock Evolve Mode as actually being accessible. And when you first start this, this is all barren, there's a few bits of grass, and it's just rockiness. You get able to track achievements. There's all sorts of them. Most of them are just for maintaining a streak or meditating for a certain amount of time. My effort gives you a breakdown of various things. My hash streak was 62. Level days meditated 132. So you have to do this 133 days just to get through the storyline before it unlocks all of the storyline, all the some of the other elements of the game, or some of the other elements to mess with in this whole thing. So, like I said, it's not really a game. Total time, yeah. You can do thought pages. Most of the time, I just run it for a minute to work through it, and because I don't really use this as a meditation thing so much, or a heavy-duty meditation thing. You can go up to, you can't go negative time, even though the timer for some reason does, which I think is funny. But you have to have a time between 1 and 1:8, so 1 minute and for a couple hours. You have a bell. You can have it do normal breaths, slow breaths, deep breaths. Change meditation. So, for meditation, a plane that helps us to realize the nature of our mind, the wisdom, and help us transform how we relate and respond to our daily living. Recommended durations. But you also have Playne Meditation A with a guided audio. You have sensations, realize the nature of sensations and feelings. These all tend to be various forms of guided meditation. Mostly what I use it for is just 1 minute thing. I use it as a reminder to help you to just take a second to go and breathe. Clear my thoughts, refocus, explore openness and acceptance, repetition meditation, stay your mind by repeating a phrase, thought pages where it's just, typing, calm, breathing for calm, deep breath, relaxation, abdominal breathing. So you get all these different options. We're just going to do this real quick to finish up with this. Oh, I forgot to show you a few options. You can pick, a few locations to look at while you do this. And, one of the main things here is the time in the game only progresses, day-night cycle and all that, and the growing of the trees and everything, only progresses every time you meditate. Otherwise, time's frozen. And there's a whole story. There's a little fox that acts as a little guide that you can talk to. Mostly they just spout the standard meditation guidelines. They also give you references to some of the studies, occasionally little things, but they also tell a story of the foolish fool who broke time, and some other things involved. There was a wolf, and a king. We are shaped by our thoughts, we become what we think. When the mind is pure, joy follows like a shadow that never leaves. Siddhartha Gautama. You get little quotes like that. They'll pop up after each meditation, and they change them up. Level 10, you unlock default mode. That's new. Yay! So now we go back here. Well done, Wanderer. You have brought us back to Playne. Is this the end? Endings are there for beginnings. Beginnings are there for endings. So if this is an ending, then a new beginning waits for you. I'll miss you. You cannot miss what you already have. I will be with you from now till forever. And now you must. Bye. But a greater beginning awaits. What must I begin? Evolve. I don't understand. This is nothing more than a Playne. Now you are powerful enough to take on a bigger challenge. Tell me more. I know of an island so large it has mountains and rivers, but like Playne, it needs someone like you to help bring back its trees and its birds. Are you ready to help this new island grow again? Let's begin. Alright, so guess we're going to a new place. It's the Evolve mode. We've unlocked the Evolve mode. Loading. Breathe out. Feel your breath expanding on your body. Oh, okay. This is different. There's the fox again. Feel the breath leaving. Seeds. Alright. Oh, I can actually move around this one. So another big one with the Playne, like you could select a few different locations, but you couldn't actually move. You could just have a few locations set. You could adjust the weather, and I think now that I've unlocked the chapter, I could change the time as well. Okay, tips: interact, meditate with Q, shift to run, reset location. 100 minutes of meditation to fully grow a tree. Interesting. Alright. You will discover the story of yourself and Playne as you meditate. Tell me the story of Playne. So you can kind of recap the story if you want, but I'm not going to bother. Let's talk about meditation. I need your guidance. How do I play Playne? Goodbye. So, yeah, let's just look around here. Bandy? Off mountain, please. Thank you. Okay, the run is only marginally faster than walking. So yeah, this one at least you can kind of explore while you do the meditate. Didn't I guess? Collect seeds by approaching and pressing a tree and pressing E. Alright, so I have to go, and it seems like this area is a lot more interactive. Yeah, the fox follows. So yeah, the Evolve mode seems to be a lot more interactive. But I find it weird that they lock it behind you have to do the Playne for you have to do the Playne mode for 133 days. Because if you just meditate twice in a day, it doesn't count. Only one meditation a day counts. But then again, once again, this isn't a game. This was designed as a meditation aid. Other things I should mention. You know, if you're into meditation and you find it helpful, great. This could be useful for you as give you reminders, give you just a little more interaction with it. If you like guided meditation, it can really be a useful tool for that. I don't really need it myself, but I thought it was interesting and gave me just a nice little reminder. But I know how I can meditate just pretty on the spot. So yeah, but if you need a little help with meditation, this could help with that. That said, meditation isn't for everyone. Some people it's not helpful. Some people it's actually can make things worse. Let's face it, a lot of meditation is self-introspection, listening to yourself a little bit, or like listening to your, like fighting your thoughts, really just kind of examining your own self. But let's say you're not in a good state of mind. You've got some traumas in there to deal with. A lot of meditation is also facing yourself, dealing with those things, like kind of confronting your own issues. Well, this tree looks different. Alright, collected some seeds, planted on ground away from other trees. Alright. But, yeah, so if you have a lot of issues, it may be better to be a little more careful with meditation, because if you say you got a bunch of trauma, alright, that just planted that there, then it's going to be maybe not as much of a... Alright, meditation, streak, in progress, guys, meditate. Okay, let me just do... Yeah. Alright, so the difference here is if I start a meditation here, it just stops me wherever I'm at. Okay, rather than just going pick here, here, or here as your 3 choices for where you sit. Which the Playne setup was, you could be by the river where I had it, you could be by the fire, where you have the menu stuff, or you could be by the coast where you listen to the ocean. And the weather you could swap between, like storms and a few other, or sunny, cloudy, windy, a few other options. But yeah, so if you got a bunch of inner traumas, issues like that, maybe meditation could help you work through them, but it could also make you more depressed if you're really dwelling, because if you end up dwelling on those issues, being sucked in by them. So that would be one of those situations I would say, if you're noticing negative effects from trying to meditate, maybe don't do it. That said, if you're, having a stressful day, you need a break, that sort of deal, a little meditation can be actually really helpful for that sort of thing. Because you can take a minute, just breathe, relax, and move on with life a little bit at a time. Oh, okay, I can't plant them on the hillside. That's good to know. What do you want to talk about? Well done, Wanderer. You've brought roast back to Playne. Okay. This is just this one. Okay. Yeah, we're already here. Wait, are we just getting reset back to the start point? Is that what we're doing here, Fox? Okay, it just popped back. But it didn't actually do much else. Yeah, so if I meditated for, I guess, at least an hour, then the trees would actually grow. I might as well finish planting stuff first. Yeah, I'm going for this flatter ground. Hold your horses. Those kind of climb. Okay, they do have to spread out quite a bit. Alright. Yeah. Now, I can say for some benefits of potential benefits of meditation. For me, like I said, I use it kind of as a minute, take a minute, just to breathe, refocus my thoughts, because I do a lot of work that involves thinking, math, spreadsheets, and my brain can get a bit fuzzy after a while. So it can be useful to just take a minute, go, recenter my thoughts, refocus, gain the idea, reorganize my priorities, that sort of deal. Also, years ago, when I was more first learning meditation, I found it useful for various things. I don't hold to all of the practices that some people do for meditation. Like some of them talk about like being a little spirit guide type deal. Like that just sounded iffy to me and on multiple levels, and more like an invitation to bring in influences that, whether you believe in them or not, that's on you. That's up to you. But like it just felt like a good way to invite in something that would just cause more trouble than it would help. But meditation for like just kind of getting an idea of your better feel of yourself and all that is, has its merits and its options. Just to take some time to really examine yourself, think about where you're at, where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, what can you improve on. Um, I found it rather useful to do certain, what would be the right word? I found it useful to do various, let's just do this for timing purposes. If I'm still rambling by the end of this, I've probably been rambling too long. I tended to use a visual meditation where, I'd use breathing methods, like tensing up a muscle in my arms, and then my other arm, and then releasing it. And you first you tense all your muscles, and then you relax them, and maybe do that once or twice, just to help them actually relax. And it helps you not think about them as much. It helps you, like, focusing your thoughts once again. It's a whole thing about that. Then focusing on the breathing, rather, like you can breathe through your chest or through your gut, your abdomen. That can help. Breathing through your nose or your mouth. Like, you think about those sorts of things, focusing your breath, focusing your body, relaxing your body, and then creating a mindscape. Those of you familiar with Sherlock Holmes may think of like the mind palace, a place where you can go and visualize your thoughts in a different format, kind of, and address those. I took a visual meditation class as one of my electives in college to help me with some of this when I was first learning about meditation, getting the hang of these things, and finding out whether it was something that was actually useful or not. And I found, so I ended up creating a world where a few things that were just kind of more there for fun or to help me relax. Part of getting into the meditative state at first, especially when it wasn't as good just diving right into it, imagining a stairwell and going down it one step at a time. And then like going through a tunnel and a door. I kind of imagine it sort of like how Lovecraft would talk about entering the dreamlands. And then with his Cthulhu mythos and the dreamlands and all that. Then, for me, it would the main area you'd enter into would be a cave with a bunch of pools. And these pools would be ways of viewing, like, memories, or viewing, like, just thinking about things. Viewing a scene. There were crystal pools in a cave. Then I could exit the cave and be out on a hillside. Down below, there'd be a big lake with giant squid. Don't ask questions, just there. Yeah. Probably some kind of visualization of, like, fears and dealing with them. And sometimes in my mind, like, wandering through my mind with this, it was fun to just, walk out onto the lake, because you can do that in your thoughts, and just look down at it, into the depths. Face your fears, kind of deal. But otherwise, you could go. For me, it was I could go up on the hill, and one of the things they talked about in the meditation class was creating a box, and this was something you could put your stresses into, the things you're worried about, and it was a way to help you kind of compartmentalize some of your things and deal with them. Like, if say they're too big to deal with at once, you get overwhelmed by emotion. It would help you kind of lock them away for a bit and deal with them piecemeal, right? Or slowly or come back to them when you're ready. Kind of like the setting something aside for the moment and take a break from it to gather your strength before you deal with the problem. Now, well, the dangers that would be like, what if you just lock everything up? Not good to bottle up everything. You've probably heard of people doing that. They bottle up, and then they explode. Emotional overload. Don't do that. Don't just keep locking stuff in the chest. For me, my chest is opalescent. Well, it's kind of a mixed thing. For one, first there's a mausoleum, which I go into. And the mausoleum is there with, like, various areas, where it's a mix of a few things. It's a mausoleum, and it's also a blast furnace for, disposing of things. There's a chute that you can drop things in. And there's also my chest in there. And the reason the mausoleum is there is because the mausoleum has shelves. Those are where I can put the bigger things. Years ago, I had a lot of stress about my dad and my parents were going through some divorce stuff for a bit. They've worked things out since then, but for a while there was things where they were living separately for a bit. There were issues, and my dad was kind of worried me because he wasn't handling it very well. They're doing better now, like I said. But, so I needed the mausoleum as a place where I could put something bigger. In this case, like my worries about my dad. I could put them on a shelf. My dad's on the shelf there. I could deal with it, my worry about him a bit, come back to the mausoleum when I was ready to, face at it. The chest is for more, my chest is this opalescent chest, think pearl, and with a bit of an oil slick coloration, pattern, color shifting. And kind of Cthulhu designs. I like Cthulhu stuff. And the weird, just some of those ideas. But the chest is full of vials and various things, and that's where I use the chest to put in, more ephemeral, what is that word? Less concrete worries and other issues or feelings. You can put, rage, depression, anger, just, all that, stress, worry, anxiety, those less tangible things. I have those that I can put them into a vial. And then they can, but, I talked about just a bit about, don't bottle things up too much. I use it as okay, I put the main thing in there right now. But the vials have a kind of a cork that just doesn't fully seal it away. It just lets it leak out slowly. So it kind of just helps me process it slowly and in more manageable chunks. And then the chest itself is just there to hold the vials and whatnot. But then there also, I mentioned having a blast furnace in there. There's a chute in my mental mausoleum. I can open that up, and that's where I can put things when I'm done stressing about them. I've worked past it. I'm done with this. Or it's something that's I have no power over this. There's no point in stressing over it. It's to, I don't care about this anymore right now, type of deal. It's, hey, I've moved past it. I don't need to have this thing in my mental map anymore. So it goes in the blast furnace. It's destroyed. It's gone. That's my, alright, I'm moving on to, removing things. Mental map-wise now, outside of the mausoleum, I have a few other areas. There's kind of a really bright spot with Roman columns like those big white pillars, and it's super like almost painfully bright there. But occasionally there's blots of darkness, like a corruption that can ooze in there. That's more of just one of those interesting spots. That's more of my of a go there and face fears type of deal. It's like standing in the light, have whatever dark thing is bothering me or whatever is revealed. And it's just kind of like more of a fun thing I created in some ways because I find that sort of stuff more interesting than some people probably would deem helpful. I don't know. Depends. I've also got a house of sorts, built into a tree, which is a couple stories to it. A small bookshelf, small little cottage kind of deal. But it's also got doors that lead to just other areas of my mental map. The main one being a door that leads out to the bottom of a dam, which is connected to the lake. And from there, there's a couple different paths to a forested area where it just tends to be constantly raining, heavier or lighter, depending on how I want it. And there's a bit of cover from the rain, but there's a number of various things that kind of play a tune based on like the music. It makes music from the rain landing, hitting on these things, rolling down it. It's a various like kind of a nice little relaxing garden setup in a sort of way. And that's more of just a go there, just sit and meditate inside the meditation sort of situation. Just a relaxing spot. The reason I share this with you is, like, for you, it could be completely different. These mental landscapes are kind of you make it yourself. Find what works for you. For me, that was the setup there for me to just, that's my mental landscape. And I could always add more. I could always remove something if I want. But that's so far been what's really solidified and been there since I mentally created it, and it's stayed strangely stable, as it were, as far as my visualization goes. But for you, like, your box might just be a music box. It might be a wooden crate, a chest. It could be anything. You may not even have half this stuff. You could be an open plain. Outside my house, in the mental scape, there's a field of a grain field with a rock on it, which you could also meditate on, rest. Now I did mention like part of the meditation class I took. It talked about being like a spirit guide, like kind of like the fox in this. A little something to give you guidance. Now, the class talked about it more like, a spirit animal, a spirit guide type deal. And that just, like I said, that didn't sit right with me. That sounded like too easy for bad spirit to pretend to be something helpful and give you bad guidance. Inviting something in, just bad idea. So instead, what I did is I used it more as a visualization of like my inner thoughts, just to give myself a bit of a better point to talk to myself, as it were, to listen to myself. Well, then like what would be the right terms? Psychological wise, I think, like listening more to just thoughts that I might be drowning out with just the day-to-day business. And I gave that a voice by creating a little Jewish man. This may sound really weird, as like, why a Jewish man? It's based off of Monster Hunter International. It's a book. there's a Jewish monster hunter who is a spirit and he ends up as a guide for the MC, for the main character in that book series. And I really enjoyed that book series. And so at the time that when I was thinking of it for visualization, there's for my inner voice there to help me talk to myself and work out things, inner turmoil, whatnot, however you want to put it, or just all right, things. It helped me process my thoughts. Jewish hunter, a Jewish monster hunter, who tends to speak in slightly broken English. That's that. And for me, that was a safe way to do it, is because I'm not inviting anything in. I'm just giving myself kind of a wall to bounce my thoughts off of. Is that? I hope that makes sense. Probably not explaining it very well. It might make more sense for me just because I'm also a dungeon master for D&D a lot, so I'm used to playing multiple characters for my party to interact with, for my other players to interact with, and so I'm used to talking to myself. Especially if I'm like playing more than one NPC at the same time that needs to be interacting with each other. Playing the villain and maybe also an NPC that's helping the party, or just two characters playing off each other for some reason, giving the party their next quest. Talking to the barkeep, and maybe some of the patrons who are talking about a rumor. Hey, did you hear? Yeah, Steven went down into the sewers. He hasn't come back yet. Oh, well, that's, shame. Anyway, you still need to sell your tab. Pity stories aren't gonna pay the bills. Like, that sort of thing. Interactions between characters. I'm used to doing that. And so, for me, that was a visualization method that helped me to address things. I don't really use that much anymore, by the way. Like, as far as my meditations go, for most of the time, it's just me in that world setting. And it's just, stresses go in the mausoleum, can be dealt with slowly, broken down over time. And that was part of the mausoleum concept as well for me, mentally, is a mausoleum is where things go to die, to be dead, to fade away. And so it's a place for things to be addressed, but slowly, as you're ready for it, they're not going anywhere. And over time, that problem those problems can be worked through and fade away, and be disposed of as needed. So that's my take on meditation and how it can be helpful. But like I said, sometimes it can be bad. Meditation could be bad for you in some cases if you are maybe not mentally stable, or you're struggling with a lot more than you're capable. If you struggle with breaking down the problem into manageable bits, if you struggle with getting hit by too much at once, or losing control of not having control of your mental landscape because you're overstressed, you're too worked up, then that could be a problem. Taking my own mental landscape as an example here, that could be like the place with the bright lights and the pillars. If the corruption, that darkness that is just hidden out of sight, that gives that thrill of the unseen danger for me. But like, what if that feeling got out of control? What if the corruption spread and became really visible through the light, and then spread beyond that point? Like, I lose control of that situation at some point there. Or if the imagination and the visualization go beyond safe limits, and I get swallowed up in my fears, in my troubles. If I do bottle up everything instead of dealing with it slowly, having it work out slowly, if it were just get sealed away in the mausoleum until it all explodes at once, and then I get overwhelmed by just everything at once. Facing my fears in the lake, or exploring the wondrous is kind of also part of like that could swallow me up, just somewhat literally in that regard. That sort of deal. So, yeah, this has turned into a weird talk about meditation. Hopefully it'll be helpful for some of you, if any of you have bothered to stay and listen to me ramble about all this. I hope you found it interesting. I hope that it helps you in some ways if you're dealing with a lot of stress in your life. And yeah, if you want to check out this, it's different. It's definitely a different sort of experience, but this is purely an aid. It is there just to give you guidance in how to do things, in how to help you do things, how to work these things out. Oh yeah. So as you can see, now we completed that meditation. That wasn't a full hour, so the trees aren't fully grown, but now they are a bit taller. This tree is still growing. You can only collect seeds from fully grown trees. Good to know. Let's see. Let's go to... What are we doing settings? That's all sorts of things. I guess there's a VR setting. Interesting. Let's close that. Let's go back to the main menu now. A small island, but you can plant and grow the flora. Fully grow 10 trees to complete a biome. So we've got evolve is that explore large island and grow immense forests by meditating. Fully grow 100 trees to complete a biome. A small island, yeah, with much more fixed settings. Let's go back to here just so I can show you a few more details I missed. I love the nighttime setting here just because of you get the Aurora Borealis set up and all that. But let's go back to the meditation. So yeah, weather-wise, sunny, windy, wind with clouds, rainy with clouds, thunderstorm with wind, actual rain and thunder and wind. And you can see it kind of settle in and change. Scenery, there's the river, there's the shore, there's the fire, and oh, they've changed. They've added a few here now, I guess, since I've progressed. There's closer to the fire, right up into it. There's out over the water. I didn't realize that was a thing. Huh. I must have missed that, or maybe it only just unlocked when I got this far into it. So yeah, you can kind of set your own setup here. Sunrise, afternoon, sunset, nighttime, world. So I guess that is set to real time probably then. Or Playne, which is it moves when you meditate. That's just a little bit there. Let's go back to the main menu one more time. Let's check out the sandbox. Biomes completed, 0 of 1. Alright. So this is what the original island looked like, I believe, when we first started. It didn't have much of anything. Plant a tree, select the tree seed by pressing 1. Then hold E to plant. Okay. So this is like the initial Playne biome. But actually I can move around it now. And I can actually interact with it and design it the way I want to design it. Okay, so that's kind of different. I can see how that could be useful. Let's see, it said 10 trees to create a biome, right? Also, I want to just explore around here and see what we can see. Now that we can actually move around. Very nice. I love the Aurora Borealis effect. Yep, here's the river. Alright. So yeah, this is kind of nice. Now I could essentially recreate the Playne setup, but with a option of actually be able to travel and set up, create my own specific spot I want for meditation help. Yeah. Okay, let's see. What is 2? 2 is to plant. Is that grass or seed or flowers? Hard to tell. Won't know until it grows, I guess. Probably grass. And 3 is either more shrubs or it's the flowers. One of these is flowers, one of these is just other plant life in general, yes. Interesting design. Alright. Well, I think that's it for Playne. It was interesting to be able to share this with you. Like I said, I wish that this part and the evolve mode were just available from the beginning. That you didn't have to go through the 133 days of building up the Playne mode just to unlock it. And yeah, Playne mode even it starts off barren, you don't have trees or anything. It's just a little bit of grass. And then as you go hit different chapter mile marks, you unlock more of the storyline from the fox, telling you the story of the foolish fool who broke time in Playne, and that's why you're here helping restore time. And otherwise you get just as time grows, you get to see the trees grow, you get to see things get restored, flowers, butterflies, birds, the weather, the Aurora Borealis wasn't a thing at first. Little things like that. You get a lot of things just working over time and changing and developing, and it's nice. But also, if you're already familiar with meditation and can just slip into your own visual world, your own visualization without needing without needing help, or you're not in a state where your mind's already still busy, that you could use a little help just to give you a nudge in the right to get you started, which is like I said, I use this as a little helper sometimes on the days, especially when my brain's more buzzed over from work and everything else, and I need a little just take a step back and breathe. This is able to help with that, and that is where it's really helpful. The most helpful is that you can use it as a point of helping you get started, or just give you something to do a little bit. And especially if you like audio or visual guided meditations, it can help with that. We just step in the park. Yes, perfect meditation spot. Warmth. Gee, can I meditate here? Yep, hold Q, just like in the other place. Meditate. Just gonna do 1 minute. Let's see if it'll actually let me do that while sitting in the fire and the rain. That's great. It lets me. That's fun. I love that. Ah, yes, the warmth of the fire roasting my feet. Audio and visual is a nice. That's one of the nice things I would say with the meditation is this. It helps give audio and visual feedback to help you relax and just breathe and go into your thoughts. So that white noise can really help. All right, I really do think that's everything I can talk about though here. Like I said, I hope it helps some of you, and if it does, cool. Otherwise, this was just a fun little thing that I wanted to share that I found to be a decent meditation aid, and that's good enough for now. Each moment is all being ways the trees are partway grown. Some of the plant life looks like a few of these things. Oh, right. Now I'm curious. Since this doesn't seem to be stuck with the normal speak with Fox before you meditate. Sure, okay. Well done, Wanderer. Yeah, blah, blah. I don't care. Why are we talking to you again? And why are we kicking me out over to here? I wanted to see that place more than that. Then this. Okay. Sorry. I just want to do one more thing. Exit to main menu. Since that was working that way, I want to see if one more meditation will cause some of the plants to actually change noticeably. Meditate. Begin. Yeah, I'm curious if this will actually, because it looked like some of the plants grew. Was one thing. I think the trees will take 3 meditations to grow, and so the shrubs or flowers will. I'm guessing maybe it's bushes, like that sort of shrubbery. It takes 2 meditations to grow. It looks like, if I'm reading that correctly. They don't really explain a lot of this, so I'm kind of guessing. This is purely me being curious because I've never seen this work this way before, so I really just want to know what it does. Nope, no work. For the moment, okay. So, not gonna let me. I guess I actually do have to come back next day in order to use or whatever. We'll work with it. For now, that's it. I'm done. That's this for today. I hope you're all doing well. Have a great night. Bye.